he put a text to me today. He said, "White Lives Matter, ha, 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 ha." And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, "Dad, what do you think it was funny?" He said, just a black man stating the obvious. Yeah. And
Tucker's face. He's on the verge of tears. My man, look at him. Finally, someone says it. I've waited so long. Kanye, you have no idea how long I've waited to hear those words. Someone finally can affirm this to me. White lives do matter. Hey, we're gonna watch the video of Tucker Carlson and Kanye West. And I just want to put one quick little footnote. If it's your first time here and you happen to not be a black person in the chat, please don't do any of the calls to things like this is an Uncle Tom or this is a, you know, traitor or blah, 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 anything like that. If you're a black person, it's not my place to tell you what to say in regards to this topic. But if you are not a black person, it's just kind of weird to drop those kind of comments in general. It's kind of strange. Either way, we are going to watch it though.
Welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Kanye West, now known as Ye, is one of the best-selling musical artists in the world. He has also in recent years become a celebrated and very highly paid fashion designer. And of course, for a decade, he was well known to TV audiences.
What if I give everyone the pass? No, we're not doing the passes, all right? We're not doing that. It's a slippery slope, I swear.
As an in-law of the Kardashian family. But it's West's latest incarnation as a kind of Christian evangelist that brought us to his office in Los Angeles today for the interview you're about to see. Days ago, during Fashion Week in Paris, West, accompanied by his friend Candace Owens, unveiled a t-shirt that read simply, "White Lives Matter."
Did you see how much people soyed out over this? Like, oh my God. The looks on, like, even Tucker's face when they show you that clip where it like pans over to him, he's like, "No, thank you. Finally, we have white allies."
Matter. The response from the fashion industry and international media was instantaneous and uniform. Shock, horror, rage. "There is no excuse for this," thundered the New York Times. "West is legitimizing extremism," shrieked Rolling Stone, etc., etc. What was strikingly missing from the coverage, however, was any explanation for why West did this. What was the t-shirt about? No one seemed to think to ask him, much less to listen to what he had to say. Instead, the enemies of his ideas dismissed West, as they have for years, as mentally ill. Too crazy to take seriously. "Look away, ignore him. He's a mental patient. There's nothing to see here." But is West crazy? You can judge for yourself as you watch what we're about to show you. He has his own ideas, we can say that. Creative people tend to. That's why they're artists, not actuaries. His free-form social media posts give the impression of a man channeling his rawest emotions right onto Instagram. The effect can be jarring and is often used as ammunition against him in the battle for influence over the minds of America's young people, and that battle is intense. But crazy? That was not our conclusion. In fact, we've rarely heard a man speak so honestly and so movingly about what he believes.
I love it. Movingly. Oh, just hits me in the feels, you know? Thank you for saying white lives matter.
Again.
By the way, I know I'm preaching to converted here. No one here needs to hear this lesson, but in case there's just a single 2% or 3% hate watchers right now who are like, well, do white lives not matter? Do you say that, Lance? No, white lives matter. Black Lives Matter as a slogan is specifically because Black lives should matter. That's the purpose of that slogan. But in American society, it seems sometimes like they don't matter. That's the purpose of it. It's like if you were at the dinner table with your family and someone is like, "Oh, I'm really sorry to announce this. I have cancer." It'd be like, "Excuse me, making this about yourself a bit much, hey? All diseases matter. All of them. They all matter, okay? One day I could have a disease. Don't see me say anything about it, so shut the fuck up." You know, that comic book where it's like there's two houses, one's on fire, and then he just like starts spraying water on the house that's not on fire, and then he's like, all houses matter. It's like, yeah, you don't have to feel excluded if you're not a black person and you hear Black Lives Matter, because it's not about you. You know, like if you're a white person and you hear that line, it's not taking stuff away from you. It's not like, and by the way, white lives don't. No, that's not the implication of Black Lives Matter. I've never understood this kind of like, I don't know. Fragility? Is that it? Is it just like, what about me? What about my story? Does my life matter? It's like, yes, it does. It's not a good thing if white people are killed by the police for like no reason other than they were doing something where they thought they were being suspicious or something like that. That's a bad thing. White people being killed by the police is bad. Black people are disproportionately killed by the police more by ratio of the population than white people are. So that's why they're trying to bring attention to this. Just so everyone knows.
You can judge for yourself. Here it is. So you just came from Paris Fashion Week. You just landed, and you have a lanyard still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen. I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about.
Wait, sorry. He's got an ultrasound that he wears around. Is that a new thing? Does he do that all the time?
The fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet.
Oh my God, I have never heard Tucker Carlson fucking soy like he just did there. That's gotta be like he actually soys in real time. Listen to this.
The fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50%.
Okay, wait, I gotta slow this down. This is gonna be the super slow-mo replay.
Of black death in America is abortion. So
wait for it.
I really don't care about people's response. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
Yeah, here we go. Tucker Carlson.
I'm sorry.
Oh God. Whew. Wardrobe.
To see why they want to make you be quiet. When did you start to feel this way? When did you start to realize this?
I really felt like, I think I started to really feel this need to express myself on another level when Trump was running for office, and I liked him.
Yes.
And every single person in Hollywood, from my ex-wife to my mother-in-law to my manager at that time to, you know, my so-called friends / handlers around me, told me, like, if I said that I liked Trump, that my career would be over, that my life would be over. They said stuff like people get killed for wearing a hat like that. They threatened my life. They put my life. They basically said that I would be killed for wearing the hat. I had someone call me last night and said anybody wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is going to be greenlit, and that means that they're going to beat them up if they wear it. And I'm like, you know, okay, green light me then. You know, God builds warriors in a different way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't understand the conservative persecution with this idea that, like, if you wear a MAGA hat, you are going to be like just assaulted on the street, or if you wear like a MAGA T-shirt, someone is going to come up to you and just call you racist to your face, like just on the spot. Like, I've seen people wearing MAGA hats, and this is a fucking anecdote Andy shit, but I've seen people wearing MAGA hats in Canada, in Vancouver, and like people who, I live in a very progressive city by standards. We have an incredible LGBTQ scene and all that kind of stuff, whatever you want to, whatever your measurement is, okay? We're considered center left, not like far right by any stretch. And there's no one walking up to them on the streets being like, oh, God damn it, you're a bigot. Wow, get out of my city. Like, like I haven't seen it. I mean, I don't have the stats on this. I don't have the facts and figures. Maybe it's happening to a much bigger degree in the US that I don't know about.
I don't know if it's because of me being born in Atlanta and growing up on the south side of Chicago that, you know, he made me for such a time like this. It's like with David, you know, he tended to the sheep, but while he was out there, he had to fight all kinds of animals. So when it was time for Goliath to come, you thought because he was a sheep herder that he didn't have the skill set to take down Goliath. And the thing that I have is the position, I have my heart, but the number one thing is we have God on our side.
That is an ultrasound. He wasn't joking. It's an ultrasound. Oh my God.
And for the people, even if you don't believe in God, God believes in you.
So you made reference to the White Lives Matter T-shirt, which you brought out at Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
You know, I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God.
For someone who's so controversial, Kanye seems kind of boring. I'll be honest, like, this is obviously, like, right-wing porn. You know, like, you can see Tucker Carlson has never been more delighted to hear all these words, you know, come out of somebody. But, yeah, it's like, I don't know, parts of this are pretty wild, though. You have to understand the stakes. This is coming from someone, by the way, like, college dropout, there's just objectively no way to deny that it's not just a fucking masterpiece, you know? Like, it's so much talent emanating from one human being sometimes can be daunting, but this doesn't matter. Like, throughout history, there's so many cases where it's like this person creates and crafts some incredible art in one period. By the way, his albums have gotten progressively shit. The last three have been like unlistenable, but like, to be that talented specifically in that one thing does not make you a genius or a savant in all other categories. That doesn't mean that you're going to have great political takes. Like, this is the same rule that we apply to people who are like these academics, right? Like neurosurgeons who suddenly become part of the IDW, or like Jordan Peterson or Sam Harris, whoever it is. Just because you're really, really good at something specifically in this one field doesn't mean that everything else is going to be amazing. And then this is just like yet another example of that.
And just brilliance. You know, like, as if you asked, like, Tanya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin.
Yeah. Ironically,
she was in so much
CSJ, I can
practice
juggle
that when it was time
but just three.
for her
I can do
skate
3 balls.
in a competitive format, it just happened. Like, it happened outside of practice. It happened in the real format. And
yeah, Dr. Oz was a competent surgeon.
That's what's happening. Is God is like preparing us for the real battles. And we are,
yeah, Ben
we are in
Carson's
a
another
battle
example.
with the media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Dr. Oz
the majority
is an
of the
example.
media has a
Sam Harris is an
godless
example.
agenda,
Jordan Peterson is an example.
and the jokes in that work, and this whole like, oh yeah, he's crazy, and all these things, they don't work because the media has, you know, they've also watched travesties happen, just even specifically to me, and just watch it and act like it wasn't happening, and they.
His accent is gone, right? I don't know. Yeah.
Stay quiet about it.
I don't have an answer to that.
What have they?
I want to answer the white.
Yeah.
I feel like someone caught what I was saying, the comparison to Tanya Harding about the White Lives Matter. You know, my dad is an educated ex-Black Panther, and he put a text to me today. He said, "White Lives Matter, ha, 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 ha." And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, "Dad, why do you think it was funny?" He said, just a Black man stating the obvious. Yeah. And
Tucker's face! He's on the verge of tears. My man, look at him. Finally, someone says it. I've waited so long. Kanye, you have no idea how long I've waited to hear those words. Someone finally can affirm this to me. White lives do matter. I've always thought it. I felt it deep in my heart and my soul, but no one said it out loud before. Man. Oh, man. My dudes, find you a woman that looks at you the way Tucker Carlson looks at someone who tells them white lives matter. Oh my God. It's incredible. Oh, sorry. I gotta keep this for posterity. I think that's the most emotional I've ever seen Tucker Carlson ever in any broadcast he's ever done. Even when he's like actually literally crying, I've never seen him this emotional. Tucker's glory, we'll call it that. There we go. Woo.
And
yeah, I'll make it an emote.
You know, my dad doesn't listen to rap music.
I'm crying too, Tucker. We're both here.
Super educated. We opened up a water distribution center in the Dominican Republic together. He's like the original Steve Jobs.
That's pretty base.
He was getting blocked every which way with all of his ideas, and he didn't have an endless bank account, and he didn't have Instagram. So all these ideas, he had to like take them back and compress them. Like, my dad is the most brilliant person that I know, and we actually have a strained relationship because I was taken from him, because my mom was an actress, so she was a liberal. And my dad would see certain things and say, you know, we should do it this way, we should do it that way. And the people got around my mom and pulled her away, much like, you know, Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview magazine and put her ass out while she's a 40-something-year-old multi-billionaire with 4 black children. And this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present her. So I know you give these questions, and I give you like these 3-part answers. Is this a cool format for you?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, cool.
And I am following it.
All right.
So you
I'm gonna be honest. Tucker is the best part about this interview.
Said that your father said when he saw the shirt "White Lives Matter," it's great to see a black man stating the obvious. So, by which I think you meant that's obviously true.
Yeah, that's my favorite response, because I kept on thinking, like, you know, people, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an explanation, but as a leader, you do.
Yes, I think that's right.
So the answer.
It's like, I've never seen Tucker so transfixed. It's like, I think this is a religious experience for him right now. He's like, this is, I guess, the conservative equivalent. You know how they always talk about how liberals, well-to-do liberals, always need validation from their black friends, and they always want to make sure that their black friends know, especially that they are the good liberals. Like, hey, by the way, I voted for Obama. I just want you to know that, okay? I'm not one of the bad ones. Yeah, I think racism is bad. I think slavery was a bad thing. This is the right-wing Tucker Carlson equivalent of it, because he's getting all this validation, but it's for his white supremacy, ultimately. Tucker Carlson's like, thank you. Yeah, white lives do matter. I've always felt this. Why hasn't a black person said this to me before? To why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing.
Yeah. Why?
Like, fucking case in point. God damn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. Oh, and by the way, yeah, everyone, I guess I need to say the PSA once again. Yeah, white lives matter. All lives matter. Of course, all lives are important. That's not the purpose of the slogan. Black lives matter is not that other lives don't. That, like, it doesn't take anything away from white people. I don't know what white people always have to make, like, I'm gonna say we because I'm white bastard as fuck. We always have to make it about us. Like, what? Black lives matter? Don't all lives matter? What about white lives?
Why do you think that's so, and I assume the implication is, of course, all lives matter because they're lives, because God created them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that would be considered controversial?
Because the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black and the vernacular that we're supposed to have. My dad grew up as a military brat, and his family moved around, but they were based mostly in Delaware. And at the time, if they weren't the only black family, they were one of the few. And he would be discriminated against because he was black. So by the time he got to college, he would be discriminated against. He went to a black college, he would be discriminated against because they said he talked too white.
Yes.
And then he played the kick drum in the band. So when he would go to the club and the music was playing, where would he clap his hands? Where the kick drum is.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of where everyone else
exactly.
was clapping their hands. And this is the most elegant and tasteful person that I know. And when my mom, when the school suggested like the herding systems, because what they do is take the black community and they separate us, and they separate the families, and the educated, they push this, need for higher education,
so
and
confused
us
right
as
now.
blacks, we discriminate against each other and say, well, I got my PhD and you don't have your PhD, so I'm better than you. And so my mom, she had a PhD, and she was influenced to move to the south side of Chicago and take this job at Chicago State University. And she told my dad, if you come for us, you'll never see him again. Because, the media ridiculed me for getting the house next door to Kim to see my children. And they even said that I was stalking her and her new boyfriend because I bought the house next door to see my children. And that's...
Okay. I'm not totally, 100% tapped into celebrity culture, but in terms of obsessed with the boyfriend, didn't he make multiple videos? Because I've seen them where a Pete Davidson lookalike or representation is being beheaded or murdered in some fashion. Like, I don't think those claims were without merit. Like, it's just kind of super weird, like divorced dad energy to be being like, I'm straight up going to murder the current boyfriend of my ex-wife kind of stuff,
That's how I knew that my mom had said that to him. I said, Dad, they moved us to one of the most agreed upon to be one of the most dangerous places in the world. It's almost like they tried to kill me or something. I said, Dad, why'd you never come to get us? And that's when he told me that she was told that. There's so many things that are put in Kim's head. They bring influencers, like no one ever knew where Corey Gamble came from. No one in the fashion world knows where Gabby came from. These people were practically made in a laboratory, in my opinion. And one of the things that they're really good at doing is being nice and being likable. And what they do is, for people that have some form of influence, whether it's an educated black woman like my mother that became the head of the English department at Chicago State University, or whether it's the most influential white woman on the planet, being my ex-wife, they have people that are around them at all.
Kim Kardashian is a lot of things. I wouldn't ever call her the most influential white woman.
All times, telling them what to be afraid of. It's like not what to do or say specifically, it's what to be afraid of. And if you have a person that isn't afraid of them, like a Russell Brand or Candace Owens,
right.
or it's not that we have to agree with it.
Tucker's like the best part of this interview. Just every time it cuts back and like it gives him a little validation that he's like so desperately craves. He's like, that's right. Oh, yeah.
But
They're not afraid.
they're not afraid to state what their opinion is.
Russell Brand has been officially lumped
no one
into
is God,
the
and
inner
everyone has
circle.
an opinion.
There you have
So
it.
a conversation like this is a window.
So I'm not going to give Tucker the last word because white supremacist and horrifying. I'm going to leave you with this clip.
I actually don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Say whatever you want to say, but don't throw a stone, then hide your hand like the rest of us are just going to swallow it.
Such a good speech. Great call out. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K, Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.